Hi, my name is Michael Woods, founder of Relational Crisis Prevention. I've been working in the field of crisis prevention and intervention for over 11 years now. I have my master's degree in conflict management. I'm a board-certified associate behavior analyst, and I'm a certified crisis prevention instructor. And I want to share with you some information and useful strategies that will help you to minimize crisis behaviors or even to prevent crisis behaviors in your home for those that you're a caregiver for, whether that be your child or parent with dementia or Alzheimer's. Why do I want to do that? Because I'm a caregiver. I'm a caregiver to 3 boys who are on the autism spectrum, who over the course of the last 13 years have presented some very challenging behaviors themselves. I started out as a dad. That's what I was. And I didn't know anything about crisis prevention or intervention, and I struggled. And so I set out on a course to learn what I needed to learn to be a better caregiver. In the process of doing that, I also became a professional in the field. Today, we're going to talk about a positive support strategy that I think that you're going to find to be very useful, and that's called visual labeling. What are the advantages of using a positive support strategy such as visual labeling for your care receiver? Well, it's not uncommon that a lot of care receivers, not all, but quite a few, have poor auditory processing. And for whatever reasons, they have a difficult time following multi-step directions or processing the end of what you've said, and therefore have a very difficult time acting on the instructions or the information that you are verbally trying to share with them. Some of our care receivers have delayed information processing. It takes them a while to process information that they've heard. Some of our care receivers have problems with working memory. Children on the autism spectrum because of executive functioning, adults who have Alzheimer's because of changes in brain functioning have difficulties with working memory. And so visual labeling is a very positive support process that will help support them in these areas where they have some challenges. Some of our care receivers have difficulties organizing information. They don't remember where things go. They don't remember the order in which things are supposed to happen. Visual labeling can help with organizing information. And the advantage of visual labeling over auditory words or processing is that visual information is more concrete. It's more clear. If I use a picture to try to convey some information for you, that picture is there. It's something that you can look at. It's something that you can hold in your hands. Whereas if I'm trying to have you do something and strictly trying to give you information that you have to process auditorily, the moment that I'm done talking, that information is no longer available unless I repeat myself again and again and again. So visual information is a lot more concrete and clear and useful for care receivers who have difficulties with their working memory and organizing information. Many care receivers are visual learners, and you know what? I think that's true of all of us. I think for the most part, it's not the only way that we learn, but our primary modality for learning is in the visual modality. And so visual labeling captures that strength. You could look at it as a strength-based intervention because it is helping to support our care receivers using one of their strengths. And then for our nonverbal care receivers who are on the autism spectrum, perhaps nonverbal because of Alzheimer's, traumatic brain injury, whatever it might be, pictures can also be a very useful tool for communicating information, and that's another advantage of visual labeling. So let's talk about how to make visual labels. This is a very simple process. This is a very easy positive support strategy to construct and to implement. First of all, let's talk about our supply list. Well, you need pictures. Visual labeling is a strategy that you're going to use to help someone to know where things go, whether it be in the kitchen or their bedroom or the laundry room or the pantry or wherever it may be. Visual labels help our care receivers to understand what goes where. And so you're going to need to take pictures. I would use a digital camera. Take pictures of those things that you want to use as part of this visual support strategy. What are the items? For example, when I was teaching my sons how to put their clothes away after I folded them, I would fold their clothes and place their clothes items, socks and underwear and shirts and things like that, on their bed. I needed a way to help them to understand and to be able to do independently, taking those clothes and putting them where they belong. So I took pictures of their socks, their underwear, shirts, and any other item that I needed for them to be able to put in their proper place. So you need to start by taking pictures of things that you want to show where this thing belongs. The next thing that you're going to need is an adhesive. I would suggest Velcro. Now, Scotch tape would also do. When we were talking about visual task sequences, I also mentioned that you could use glue. In this case, you're not going to want to use glue because you're going to place a picture of an item and where it goes, probably on a dresser drawer or on a shelf or on a door, someplace where you want to be able to later on, if you need to be able to remove that picture without peeling off the paint. So Velcro or Scotch tape are good solutions for that, but not glue. Then you want some lamination. You could buy contact paper, document protectors at places like Office Depot. You could use a lamination machine. Oftentimes you could find those at schools, businesses, churches, or again, some place like Office Depot has a laminating machine that you can go in and they'll charge you a very low cost to laminate your pictures. The reason that you want to laminate your pictures is because that makes them more durable. I mean, when you print your pictures out, they're going to be printed out on an 8.5 by 11 piece of printing paper. Well, that's easily torn. It's easily bent. It's easily crumpled up. By laminating those pictures, you make those pictures much, much, much more durable, and they will last you a lot longer period of time. Then you want to put everything together to make your visual label strategy successful. So what you're going to do simply is the picture of the socks that you took, that's going to go on the drawer where socks belong. The picture of underwear will go on the drawer where underwear belong. The picture of spoons or plates will go on those cabinets where spoons or plates belong. In the laundry room, taking a picture of laundry detergent, you're going to now, with your adhesive, put the picture of the laundry detergent where you want that laundry detergent to go. Because the idea is going to be this. As the care receiver with a pair of socks in my hand, or my underwear, or a shirt, or a spoon, or a plate, or laundry detergent, or a toothbrush, or toothpaste, all those things, whatever is in my hand, the way that I'm going to learn where this item goes, the way that I'm going to become more independent about putting things away or getting things, is going to be by finding the picture of the item that's in my hand and now placing that item where that picture is. It's as simple as that. So let's take a look at some visual labeling examples. This first one, again, here's a good picture of a dresser drawer that shows where items belong. On that top drawer, you can see that there's a picture of a shirt and a dress. Down at the bottom, you can see that there is a picture of a skirt and a pair of pants. What someone has done here is simply, now here they used a picture symbol to represent what the item is. I prefer, because this will make it much easier on your care receiver, take a picture of an honest-to-goodness actual item, because it'll be easier for your care receiver to make that connection between what's in their hand and what's on that picture. For some of our care receivers who look at those symbolic pictures that you see here of a shirt or a skirt or a pair of jeans, they're not going to get that because those are drawings. Those are symbolic pictures of items. You want to use actual pictures. I would always do that because hands down, That's the way that research says makes the best connection for our care receivers. Here you can see an example in the classrooms where they've used words to label what goes where. Now, if you are working with a care receiver who is still very verbal and who does a great job at reading, instead of using pictures, you can use words. Not a problem. You need to individualize this for your care receiver. Here is an example of someone who has organized and labeled things that go in a cleaning closet. On this particular picture, you can see again that the labels are words, and that will work for a variety of our care receivers. But for some of our care receivers, those who can't read or who can't read anymore, you're going to want to use honest-to-goodness actual pictures so that if they need something, it's easy for them to identify where it's located, or if they need to put something back, it's easy for them to recognize where it needs to go. Again, another classroom item. Here again you see pictures that are more symbolic than actual pictures. A lot of care receivers will get that. If they do, that's not a problem. I would rather play it safe than sorry. Again, if I've said it once, I probably have said it 3 times now. Take actual pictures of the items that that person is actually going to need to put back or to go retrieve. And here are some sample pictures that you could use again in a pantry. The actual picture of a box of Special K cereal or Ritz crackers. Actual pictures of fruit juice to drink or a box of ice cream cones. You see a picture of tomatoes there, a picture of Tide laundry, a picture of mayonnaise. This is what I'm talking about here. Taking the actual pictures of the items that that person is going to need to know where they need to go back and place those, or where they could go retrieve them. Use the actual pictures, and then you're going to take those pictures and put them in the actual locations where those items belong. How to use the visual labeling idea, the positive support strategy, easy. We've already talked about locations. Take those pictures and put the pictures where you actually want the items to be placed. That is location. Teaching how to use it, we've already talked about that. Again, there's going to be a component where you're going to provide some gentle physical assistance to your care receiver. For example, when I put the pair of socks in my son's hands, I would walk him over to the drawer where the picture of the socks were. Prompt him to open the drawer and place the socks in there and then close the drawer. And I would do that for every single item. He now knows where cups, plates, spoons, forks, shirts, socks, underwear, a huge variety of things go because of this very simple process. And the last thing I want to touch bases with you on is, where will this fit on the crisis escalation route? This positive support strategy is going to be most useful in what phases of crisis escalation? Well, very useful in the tension phase. Again, some of the tension or stress or anxiety that our care receivers feel is because they don't know what to do in the moment. You've just given me a pair of socks, you've given me some silverware, but I can't remember or I've never learned where this goes. So this is going to be very useful for the tension phase because that's the phase at which tension starts to manifest itself. In the refusal phase, where our care receivers are refusing to do something, the visual labeling support strategy is very good because it's going to allow you something very tangible to show them so that you can de-escalate their crisis behaviors based on the fact that they simply can't organize or know where something needs to go. And then also in the calm down phase, which is the phase at which our care receiver is calming down. That emotional and physical energy now is dissipated. Rationality and reasoning is returning. In that phase, we talk about negotiating, and you can use this tool as a way to negotiate or help support your care receiver in what to do next time as opposed to having a crisis behavior.